Well, it's James for Student Pages. Hope you're doing absolutely excellent today. Today we are joined by Madison Cunningham. How are you doing?
I'm doing beautifully today. Thanks for asking. Very hot here. It's supposed to be fall, but it's playing a different it's summer still.
Being from the UK, yeah, tricky weather, it's what we're used to over here. But yes, welcome to the Spotlight Sessions. We just want to talk, obviously, about your new studio album, Ace. So yeah, I think we'll start there. First of all, massive congratulations on the release of that. How would you say it's developed you personally as an artist, like making that album? What was sort of the inspiration behind the music?
The inspiration was just going through sort of a life breakdown, a sort of big event that kind of bottomed out the whole sort of world I was living in. And I started just needing a place to put those feelings. That was the impetus of writing it, and where how it all kind of started to string together. I definitely had like a label, had a contract that I had to fulfill, which was needing to make another record. And at that time, I think I was too depressed to really give a shit about it. But the songs ended up just kind of coming right when I needed them, and it kind of, I was so prepared for it to not do this, but it came right in the time, and no earlier, no later than I was hoping to record an album, or like the expectation of recording an album was at a certain time, and I just didn't think it was going to happen. And then it all just kind of unfolded in a very miraculous way that I'm still kind of like trying to understand.
It's fascinating how it happens, isn't it? When, you've so much going on in your own life that the creative side of things and the production side comes sort of, I'm sure you'll agree, it comes like naturally, doesn't it? When there's experiences that you're going through and you sort of want to get them out, want to have an outlet, but also share that with the world, but also use it for yourself. As I say, it's interesting, isn't it, how that can all just work so well and come together in sort of a weird synergy kind of way.
Yeah, it's completely remarkable. And it's something that is like, my friend said it so beautifully. She's like, when you have to dissect something, then you have to kill it. And sometimes when we dissect why songs are, why they came to be, we kill the wonder in them. And I think that's been the beautiful part of this process, is just kind of going like, I don't know how it happened. And I surrender to that like kind of mysterious thing that moves, and it works, and it happens, and you just have to like trust.
I mean, you didn't work on the album alone. Obviously, you collaborated with Robbie Blackbridge. Huge collaboration, by the way. Again, once again, massive congratulations. How did he sort of help with the creative process around that album, and also how did it come about in the first place?
Him and I had crossed paths a few times. I had opened for one of his artists, Bahamas, and there was I loved talking to him, and I felt like he was just a wealth of knowledge and really good advice. And my manager was kind of like, what if you guys made a record together? And it had never occurred to me, and it just, all of the pieces kind of fell in place. We had set to do this one like week of testing, like if it was a match, and the idea was like he was going to engineer me while he watched me write. So it was really like a sobering experience. And I knew from the first moment, like hearing him engineer the process and how he was in so many ways writing with me, just by the way he was like making the sounds in the room and making me like respond to things. I just knew that it was going to be like the exact counterpart that I wanted for the record.
Absolutely. I mean, Robbie is a legend, isn't he? He's worked on such incredible stuff. And again, I think it must have been awesome for both parties, really, for both yourself and him. I imagine that's sort of like it must have been so cool for yourself, but also pretty cool for him. You know what I mean? I think it's wonderful when people from different sectors of the same creative industry come together to make something really special. I just think that's so awesome to witness.
Again, a surprising thing. Like, I think that's like, Robbie has done so many incredible things, but he does not fancy himself like a bigwig, and he doesn't go around bragging about it because it speaks for itself. But it just goes to show you that like it's so much more important to have connection than credentials, and that's what makes the flow happen. And also, he has credentials, but that wasn't the. He's gonna read this later, and he's gonna listen to this later. He's gonna kill me. I love it.
No, it's great. It's wonderful to hear that he's so down to earth. That's wonderful to hear. I mean, so we'll touch a little bit more on the album later, but I do want to ask and sort of take a few steps back. just about you and how you got into the wider music industry and what inspired you to go in that direction in life.
I grew up in a musical family. My dad was a songwriter and guitar player and drummer too. And I was inundated with music very early on. And like, I can tell you honestly, I didn't register music as being a career path until I was in this band in high school. And every member in that band, they all had their sights on being in music for real. And I just didn't know that you could do that, but I loved it. And I was young enough to where like I didn't have to quite think about career path yet. I was probably 15. And when I kind of saw that light bulb go on for them, it really ignited something in me. And I got extremely serious and just kind of continued to write songs. I always loved writing songs. And I mean, I didn't know how to look for the people that could teach me how to do it. I met them randomly. Like I met my dear friend and collaborator, actually live in his back house now, named Tyler Chester. And I met him when I was 17 and we've just like been musical partners kind of the whole way. A very, very random set of circumstances that kind of allowed it all to happen. I think it was just like the right amount of people, my family, that band at the time, and then Tyler, kind of people confirming that I was good at music. And you kind of, if you go your whole life without that, I think at some point you're just going to give up because it's too hard. It's too hard to be like, the music industry is not kind, and even when it is kind, it's grueling. So it's not like, it wasn't luxurious. I've really had to grow into the love of it, and that love is real. It's like deep and passionate, but it had to evolve over time, if that makes sense. It was a really long answer to your question.
No, absolutely. I totally understand as well. I can definitely see the perspective of, because there is a lot of contrast, isn't there, between having the passion and having the talent, and then also this big, scary, businessy side of it all. I think that takes a lot of understanding. It's for sure not something that I would ever understand. But also, yeah. I think it's interesting to note you said how the people around you, told you that you had this, this talent, and that was sort of what took you to realize. I think that's really interesting as well, because at the end of the day, sometimes you go to look at what you do and you can't view it. You can't view it objectively because you're sort of like, well, this is from my perspective. But when you've got everyone around you telling you, you kind of know that you're doing something right, or that you can't be totally insane for thinking it, because if they're noticing it, it's got to be there.
Totally. I mean, there's only so much self-belief that you can have without like reflection or without people mirroring it back. You can start to feel like, maybe I might be on my own, like in my own delusion here. But like, it also all stems from self-belief too. But it's this like cyclical thing of, that's why community is so important, and knowing that like no one is completely self-made. That's just not true. Can't be true.
I mean, so obviously I've listened to a lot of the tracks from Ace, but for your music as a whole, I found Ace to be very, like, as an album in general, I found it to be very driven and uplifting. But how would you personally describe your music? Would you say that you fit into a specific genre, and what do you think makes it stand out?
I've never associated myself with a genre. I don't feel, anytime that I've tried, I feel like it alienates myself from the music, or like, I don't know, the connection didn't seem to be worth making the more that I try to make them. But I think people love songs. Like, they don't realize how much they love songs. Like, I think, or maybe they do. I'm sure a majority of people do, but that's the whole ticket. That's the thing that makes people feel connected and verbalized and not lonely. You know what I mean? Like, there's something there. I think that's why I love movies too. It's like, it's a reflection of the whole shape of humankind. It's like, there's kind of like, every story should be told. And I think I care so much about songs, and I really hope that the reason people care about my music is because of the storytelling.